Yo, what's happening, world? Name's Raheem Flowers. I was sick for a minute. I've been sick since April 3rd, so I was sick the vast majority of this month. I'm just getting better, and I've seen a series of events transpire. It's with a sister who I've known for 7 years, since 2016. I even uploaded a video that is still on my page and one of my most viewed videos. Name is Princella Clark. That woman did a whole 180 on black men. I'm like, damn. Keep in mind, put in perspective, I was only 24 at the time. Pardon me. I was only 24 at the time when I posted that. At 31, I know significantly better. In addition to that, I think to myself, man, how did you go from saying those things you said about black women to going on a warpath with men? Specifically, the joke known as the manosphere. She went at it with Angry Man. She went at it with Myron and Fresh and Fit. And even though the brother isn't from the manosphere or the red pill, recently, Marquette Devon Burton, who smoked the ass. It was embarrassing, it was comical, and it was pathetic. Princella has shown that she's no different than what they call, and I don't like using the word too much, a modern day woman. She has succumbed to these foolish vices of the feminist mantra, the Michelle Wallace, the Alice Walker, the Valerie, the Gloria Steinems, the Susan B. Anthonys, the Margaret Sangers of the world. Yup. Valerie Solanas. But yeah, you succumbed, you gave in to all that bullshit because your marriage didn't pan out. But I will say this. Princella said something that I once said, and she said it in her own stream, how women deal with the abstract. When she went on her extensive diatribe and analysis of her Fresh and Fit session, or when she was on Fresh and Fit. Women do deal with things that are abstract, and it's typically with their emotions. Men typically deal with things that are more tangible, which is why men are more prone to building and creating than women. I mean, outside of creating life, which is very essential, by the way. And that's not to say that there aren't women who don't build or can't build or wouldn't build. But if we look at it from a ratio, mathematical, objective, since you pride yourself of being objective, Marcella, if we look at it from that objective standpoint, we gotta concede to the fact that this world was built by a man. The microphone you use, the phone you use, the website you use to upload, and the books that you read, and everything else in between, or creations of men. You're still regurgitating, parroting, modeling your format on men. You know, this reminds me of a conversation I had with Brother Kel when he talked about female rappers and then how they emulate men. And he was pointing out to me, literally any MC, any rapper that's a woman, he could tell you where they get their style from. And you can do the same thing with these matriarchal-minded women, such as you, Princella, or what you devolved into. You know what you devolved into, Princella? You devolved into a intellectual version of Cynthia G. Except it's not just black men, it's just men holistically. Although you did say to Marquette, you said to the brother that if you're going to read, or if you, and I'm paraphrasing, if you're going to read any book or learn anything, it's going to be from a white man. Crazy. Sisters still sowing that vitriol towards black men and just men all across the board. Ain't that a shame? Ain't that a shame? But yeah, so it just shows me that you're trying to rationalize your hatred, your disposition towards men. When you were on Saint and Sinner, when you were on Marquette's platform, and he asked you if he was a single mother, and then you tried to dance around the question and get all philosophical and ask the question answer a question within a question. What makes me a single mother? Those are your words. Are you currently and actively with the man that you are with and you had a child with? Are you currently in a marriage status? But you said you were in the process of divorce and all that other stuff. You try to lie around it and you try to deflect. And that's crazy. This further proves my point, what I said previously about women moving similar to chameleons. They are very adept to their environment. And they go by who they see has the most power. This is why I said, black men, we got to understand that when it comes to dealing with melanated women, black women, it's not about having so much of an infatuation with white men per se. It's just that white men seem, for what it is, for all intents and purposes, and as far as what the globe and the world is concerned, they're the ones who are the symbol of power. All women are attracted to power. No exceptions. Just what they define as power will vary in every other woman, but all women are attracted to power. And this ain't nothing that I fault or condemn them for. I accept nature. And you made your argument, you tried to make your argument with Marquette very ecological. You tried to make it very nature-based. But, see, one thing about us with nature, we're binded. You could even say enslaved to certain things. Men typically tend to be slaves to their biological or primal urges, i.e. lustful towards sex. Women tend to be slaves to how they feel, or what we call emotion. Or as you said, energy in motion, as you said, sister. But yeah, that's what I gotta say when it comes to Princella. She did a 180. She went from being on Tommy Sotomayor's channel and co-signing what he said and getting on sisters, and she was on her Shahrazad Ali shit back in 2016. How she go from that to transitioning onto all that feminist talking points and how we need to embrace the matriarch and patriarchy is unnatural and matriarchy is the natural order of things and things of that nature. Well, guess what? You just showed and proved through Fresh and Fit, through the brother Marquette, Devon Burton, through the manosphere in general, namely and mainly Angry Man, that you ain't nothing but an agent of chaos. Or as Judah once said, Chronicles of Judah 144, it's that Kali Ma effect. That's what you have. You have the Kali Ma syndrome, the goddess of time, destruction. If your time was so valuable, how could you have spent almost a third of a day going on a diatribe and an analysis about Fresh and Fit, about Myron particularly? If your time was that valuable, you almost went a third of a day because it was 7 hours. You weren't coming to speak to these brothers in good faith. You just weren't. You were there to bring about chaos, conjure up it. That's what you came to do. You didn't come to understand. You didn't. You came with an agenda, and a wicked one at that. How disheartening is it, Princella? And this is all because of your marriage not panning out. What else would it be? There's an old video of you talking about how you cook and you clean and how you move like a traditional woman and how women should move. There's an old video back in 2014. Like, how the fuck can you transition onto that to basically fuck these niggas? They ain't shit. Or as you said, men are incapable of love. But not realizing that we just love differently. See, when you were talking to Myron, I laughed. When you were talking to Marquette, I laughed. Because you know why? You will say things about rape. So let me use logic and stats. And let me show you the fallacy in your bullshit. So you say that most rapists are men. Most of the ones who are committing the acts of rape are men. And the ones that are reported are men, which is true. You have to concede to that objectively, factually. But what you fail to talk about and acknowledge is most men aren't raping. See, that's why statistics are very tricky. And that's why I'm glad I read that book, How to Lie with Statistics. Because then you have the ability to discern. There's a difference between men being the ones who do rape more than men actually doing the raping, like the majority of men actually raping, versus there being more men who do rape as opposed to women. And usually, and in those cases, who's usually the ones who fight for the women who deal with those fucking bullshit tragedies, and who are the ones who are willing to protect them and retaliate and deal with the sick rapist? Usually another man. Because there ain't another woman. In most cases, it's usually another man. Isn't that funny? So, you were making a very disingenuous point and argument when you said that shit. I'll admit, you definitely gave Myron the run for his money. But Marquette washed you. He washed you like a typhoon. He washed you like a hurricane in Florida. Damn. It was embarrassing. But you got too cocky. You were feeling yourself. So that's what I got to say to that. On a side note, speaking of the manosphere, O'Shea, you a bitch for what you said about David Carroll. How dare you disrespect a man who can't even defend himself? A man who's 6 feet under the ground. When you were talking about the DMs regarding Crystal and Karazine. Such a shame. When you modeled a lot of your content on David Carroll initially, before you started doing your celebrity junk bullshit, before you started switching up your format, that's what you were doing. You were just a carbon copy of Tommy/David Carroll. I've known about you for years, O'Shea, so you can't say that bullshit. I remember when you were still considered a small-time YouTuber. Yeah. But look at you now. Now you just feeling yourself. And now you want to talk shit about the brother when he's dead and can't even speak up for himself. So I don't respect that shit at all. That's some straight up sucker shit that you did. So that's what I gotta say about that. And yeah, to end off you, Princella. You see, you're just another scorned black woman. And you trying to use Fresh and Fit in the manosphere, and you failed at doing it with Marquette. That's a buffer for your own fucked up, demented, chaotic, wicked, and downright evil agenda. Don't talk about the creator in your video. Because you worship Kali. Yeah. You are like Eris, the goddess of chaos. Nothing about you, man, there's no divine aura emanating out you. It's nothing but dark, wicked, demonic energy and aura that emanates out of you when you laugh like one of the witches from Banjo-Kazooie. Fuck out of here. Now I'm done.